Poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. And I believe that to be true. I thought I was grown. I was doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, however I wanted to do. Yeah, that shit was cool. The money was cool. The chicks was cool. The jewelry was cool. But fuck all that shit. If I couldn't capitalize off of the stuff that was in front of me, I felt like I was a failure. You see, a lot of people ask why choose the street life. The street is all we got. We was on 4th Street selling candy bars to get our tickets, to get people to pay for our flight to Florida for the state championships. At 5 years old, I had to take an hour-long bus ride to a faraway place to get a better education. At 5 years old, I thought everyone was just like me. Being a student in Boston's public school system was pretty rough. I learned not to judge the hood, for how the hood loves you back. You see, love from the hood is an honor bestowed on those who show the most unwavering loyalty. I'm talking about street niggas. Most literally from cradle to grave, most literally niggas who hug the block in the last moments of their life, right before the yellow tape makes a spectacle of their body. What you think you gonna ignore me, nigga? The hustle ain't no damn trouble. You see, I'm a gift. An economic opportunity for you. A legitimate chance for people like you to take your spot in my mighty right hand. According to the CDC, the 4th leading cause of African American death is homicides. And according to the FBI, 89% of those homicides are caused in our own black communities. In my city of Philadelphia, we are now the second deadliest city in America, right behind Chicago. But what Philadelphia and Chicago also share is the high unemployment rate in these young African American communities. Chicago at 24% and Philadelphia at 19%. These young boys have to choose between starvation and gang activity. And each boy developed on his own hustle, either academics, basketball, or the streets itself. The story of the hustle. Poetry by Stephen Helson. Shots Fired. Prose by LaShawn Atlan. My Way Out of Poverty. And other interviews by G Herbo, Kevin Durant. The school looked like a prison more than a school. But as I got older, I started to notice things like we had 40 students in one class. We had one book for every 3 students. I'm the plug, nigga. The supply. You're young, you're black, you're male, you don't know that the hustle's all you got, that the crack rock be your only inheritance, that the corner be your only heirloom. When you go up in the streets, you see some slimy shit. I think there's a street and a sidewalk for a reason. If the street ain't your lane, stay out of it. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. I see niggas drop their gun. Now shoot their gun when it happens. But you gonna ignore me? Even though you hungry, boy? Even though that light bill due and that water bill due, ain't you tired of getting bullied at school? Don't you want those new pair of shoes? And what kind of man just sits by and lets his mother work her fingers to the bone? It was the 8th grade when I lost my first friend to street violence. Dakeem Goldwell. Shot in the head because he didn't want to give his hat to the gangsters in the streets. That was one of the darkest times in my life. I wanted to give up everything. Education, you name it. But I was like a sort of in survival remorse. We dehumanize each other. We are not allowed to feel. We are not allowed to cry. We are not allowed to think. We are not allowed to be vulnerable. We are not allowed to talk about our issues. I might not make it out. There was vague moments in the streets, probably 2 or 3 weeks straight, when I see niggas just straight laid out. They ain't got it in them. You see, there's a difference between 2 types of hustles. A kid who got it all figured out, a mom and a dad, but there's this one kid. He ain't got no one in his life but his grandma, and his grandma hooked on heavy drugs. His community is real poor. He seen his best friend die at 13. Now he feel like all he got is this hustle. What else I'm gonna do? What else I'm gonna be? See, my uncle was a killer. My dad was a killer. He leaned into the footsteps that was before him. The work I'm doing every single day, how many times I look around, I'm in this 14,000 square foot house. I got every car I wanted. I did made enough money to where I could wait and still make money off my contract. I'm good. I got my mom a house, my brother a house, everyone straight. I handle my business every day. See, I just graduated local community college. And at local community college, that was the first time I ever received an A. See, good grades motivated me to go further. I kept up the pace and eventually ended up completing my associate's degree in criminal justice with the highest honor. I made it on the dean list every semester. See, I'm on my way to complete my bachelor's at UMass Boston. And then on my way to Northeastern University. We hustled. Leaving the streets was one of the toughest things I ever did in my life. Like one of the darkest times in my life. I tried to figure it out, but I just had to cut everything off. Because you had to see that's all I loved. I used to go out there every day and put myself in a line of fire willingly. Because of this, and because of what I had to sacrifice. And it just came a time when it was like, I can't do this. See, the streets only go one or two ways. You either get killed or you go to prison. I had to cut off all ties. See, they called me a bitch because they didn't see me in 1 or 2 months. I'm tired of just looking over my shoulder. You jump out the streets and adapt to your environment. See, how could they blame you? They don't know anything. They don't do anything to benefit the hood. Trump, Biden. They don't come around here and tell us to work together. See, we gotta lift ourselves. We gotta make the steps to work in our community ourselves. That's it. That's all I'm gonna use.